Senator Ted Cruz. So you were caught up in this, too. When did you find out? And when did you find out your phone company didn't give up the records?
Well, I found out the end of last week. And actually, Sean, you and I had dinner together just over a week ago. And we were talking about the fact that Jack Smith and the Biden Department of Justice had subpoenaed 8 Republican senators. And had gotten their phone records, had gotten their detailed phone records. And I joked at dinner with you, Sean. I said, I'm a little offended they left me out. What do I got to do to be a target of them coming after me? Well, it turns out. They issued a subpoena. And you know, my cell phone company is AT&T, and AT&T, to their credit, said, no, we're not going to hand this over. AT&T's based in Texas, and kudos to AT&T. It was the right thing to do to say, we're not giving you those cell phone records. But the Biden DOJ subpoenaed nearly 20% of the Republicans in the United States Senate, their phone records. This was a fishing expedition. It was an abuse of power. This was, and by the way, they launched Arctic Frost, this witch hunt. They launched it 3 days after Donald Trump launched his reelection campaign to be reelected to the presidency. This was all about politics. And Arctic Frost is, I think, the Biden Department of Justice's Watergate. It is pure weaponization going after their political opponents. And I think the Department of Justice, the Biden DOJ, needs to be held to account.
All right. What is your take on the meltdown on the left on the White House renovations? Not a taxpayer dime being spent. All these past presidents, and, you know, they've been involved in renovation projects at the White House. And you're telling the GOP to take the political part seriously as it relates to all of these protests over the weekend. And I want to know what you mean by that, because, and some people are comparing it to the Tea Party. You know, I did a show in Atlanta on April 15, 2010, and we had 20, 25, 30,000 people show up at that event. There were moms and dads and people that had an agenda. They wanted less government intrusion, lower taxes, less regulation. I didn't exactly see a real agenda on display this weekend. I see a big difference. Yeah. Why do you think people should take it seriously?
Well, listen, there is no agenda in the Democrat Party today other than hatred for Donald Trump. And they are obsessed. They hate Donald Trump. I agree with you that these protests, they were not organic. They were paid for. They were bought and paid for. You and I talked about before how George Soros, there's real evidence that George Soros is paying for it. I talked about on my podcast, Verdict with Ted Cruz. I laid out the receipts, how Soros's foundation has given over $3 million to Indivisible, one of the key organizers of these protests. I think in many ways they're AstroTurf. However, the warning that I'm announcing, listen, on the left, hatred is a powerful motivator, and there is an energized base on the left who hates Donald Trump, and people who are energized can show up to vote on Election Day, and I fear sometimes that on the right, people are a little too relaxed, a little too complacent. They feel like, okay, we're winning, things are great, and that can be a dangerous combination. Right now, you look at small donors, Democrats are outraising Republicans online 3-1 or more because their side is filled with rage. I think there are a lot more Americans who believe in common sense, who like a secure border, like our families being safe, like the economy coming back. Like, there is an incredible record of success to campaign on. But the warning that I'm putting out is we've got to make sure that we turn people out, because if we're complacent and sit on our laurels, that's how you lose the House or even potentially lose the Senate. We can't let that happen because the stakes are too high, and that means we got to make sure we turn people out.
I think it's a fair admonition. You can lose any election, and you can't take anything for granted. Is the government going to open anytime soon?
Who the heck knows, Sean? The amazing thing is the Democrats, for this shutdown, look, on one level, they forced a shutdown to have free taxpayer-provided health care for illegal aliens. But at another level, that's not even the heart of their ask. They know they're never going to get that. This shutdown is happening simply because Chuck Schumer is afraid of being primaried from the left. And the Democrats are all trying to show their crazy base they hate Trump as much as the base does. And look, Schumer's afraid AOC is going to primary him, but it's not just Schumer. Just about every Democrat. We voted 11 times to reopen the government, and the Democrats are all voting to keep the government closed, and not just the crazy left. You look at John Ossoff, who's running for re-election in Georgia. He's the most vulnerable Democrat on the ballot next year. He's voted 11 times to keep the government shut down because I guess Ossoff's calculus is he only cares about the crazy radicals on the left. And all across the country, the federal workers who are going to work and not getting paid, he doesn't care about them. The American citizens who are not getting the government, that the national parks and the Smithsonian and the museums. And look, on Friday, Sean, I went to Hobby Airport in Houston. I did a press conference. I pointed out 50,000 TSA agents are going to work right now and not being paid. 14,000 air traffic controllers are going to work and not being paid. And we're seeing delays. We're seeing stoppages. And the Democrats do not care. And the American people are paying the price.
Senator Cruz, appreciate you being with us. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.